my screen went black.
Uh-oh. I got the little live button. I
Whoops.
see it.
You see it?
Yeah.
Well, welcome everybody to 10,000 Days, episode 10.
Yeah, we're live now.
There we go.
Uh-oh, it's just you and me now, Case. We lost him again.
Yeah, I see that. Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Hi, everybody. We lost Eric. I'm sure he'll be back in a minute, but we are live. Hello, hello. Good to see you all. We're here with Kasey Campbell today from 10K
How's everybody
Days.
doing? How is everybody? I
Kasey?
hope everybody's doing great. I just had to let you guys know today is my birthday.
Oh my God,
So,
it's
I
Kasey's
know.
birthday.
Today's my birthday.
Happy
20 years old.
birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
What are we doing for your birthday, Kasey?
Oh, man. I'm actually in Utah right now with my family. So it looks like we got a bunch of dinners planned and dessert and all that fun stuff. So
Where in Utah are you?
I'm from Salt Lake City.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love Utah. I love
Me too.
Park City. Yeah,
Park
yeah.
City's beautiful. I just went
I love-
snowboarding in Sundance. So
Oh, wow. How
Yeah.
cool is that?
yeah, it's a blast for sure.
Very groovy. I'm hoping that we get Eric back here at some point.
Yeah, I'm hoping so as well.
We were going to be chatting up about episode 10.
Yes, we will.
Are you in episode 10, Case?
I certainly am. I believe so. Yeah.
Cool.
I watched it as when we watched it as a full blown all together. So I don't exactly know how the breakups become, but yeah, should be.
Yes, episodic breakups.
Exactly.
Gosh, I knew it was going to be quiet today because it is the middle of the holidays, so the people
yeah.
are in all different parts
Busy
of the world,
doing
as
stuff.
are you.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, goodness gracious. So tell me about your 10,000 Days experience.
Okay. Well, what an experience. First of all, it was a while ago. We filmed it a while ago. So
How old were you then?
I think, let's see, the first couple episodes we did, I had to have been maybe 15.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a while ago. And then it was a good long break. And then I think I filmed the rest of them when I was 17, almost 18, I believe, somewhere around
Yikes.
there. Yeah, right? Good couple of years ago, for sure.
Oh, my goodness. How are they going to handle the age change?
Hopefully I haven't changed too much. Hair's a little shorter, but hopefully got a little more of a beard right now. But other than that, hopefully we're good.
No, you can still play young, too, probably.
Yeah,
You
for
probably
sure.
get cast young all the time.
Yeah, I kind of ate, usually around 20, so
Yeah.
that's about where I am. So,
How old were you then?
oh, hey. How old
Oh, wait,
was I?
no.
When?
Eric just came in
Oh,
and
hey.
he has the delay on somehow. Eric, put your headphones back in now.
No, I'm back. Everything's fine.
Oh, okay, wonderful.
No delay. My voice should be perfect, right?
You sound
There
great.
you are. We were just discussing Casey's
Yes.
age now.
Oh,
And
relative age and less facial hair.
Yeah, right? A bit more facial hair right now.
Yeah, Casey, you
holidays.
didn't have any facial hair. What happened? You growing this for real?
Well, it's December. I figured, hey, it's wintertime. Beards are necessary, so.
he's a rugged man from Utah now,
That's right.
Eric.
I like it. I like the
Thank you.
I like the residence. Is this the apartment?
This is actually my stepbrother's house or room in our house. So it's the only quiet place around right now.
You picked an
Wow.
excellent angle. You're showing
Oh.
skills as a director with that
Oh
angle.
man.
Yes, it's
Good to
beautifully placed. You're right in front of a trophy. It's beautiful.
Exactly right. Football trophy back there. Good stuff.
Well, sorry I dropped out on you, Casey.
no, you're good.
Thanks to Google, we love Google, but Google does occasionally have issues, and it kicked me out and said, hey, you need the audio-video package plug-in. And I said,
Did
what?
you have to download it? I did as well.
Well, I've had it for months. All of a
Oh,
sudden,
okay.
I guess it decided mine wasn't up to date.
Weird.
Hey, I wanted to say, first of all, let's welcome Casey to our viewership. People are adding on here every couple minutes. We got new people showing up, and Casey plays Milo Beck, the grandson of the patriarch William Beck and son of the leader of the Beck clan, Lucas Beck. So you've got a great legacy there.
A lot to live up to, right?
You got a lot to live up to.
I would agree.
And so, we'll throw out questions here in a little bit to the fans that are watching, but just a little more backstory on you, Kasey. Obviously, we cast you early on.
Yeah.
In the process, you've been there from the very beginning, back in 2008. So it's been a 5-year journey.
So 5 years. I was right. I was 15. That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Is that unbelievable?
Oh, that's crazy, Eric. That is crazy.
But here's what's great is you look, even though you've matured and you look a little older, your face has remained substantially the same, which is
I completely agree. We got lucky, right?
We got very lucky.
Yeah, for sure.
So you fit in beautifully still, and that's the joy for me is nothing has to change for us as we move into season 2. So so I'm thrilled, of course, and people are going to find out. Our fans are going to find out what happens with you and Kovita, played by Kelsey Sanders. Kelsey couldn't be here today. She wanted to. She's on a plane or in a car or somewhere. Maybe on a train.
One of those. Traveling somewhere.
Maybe on a camel somewhere. But she's going to be here with us next week, she promises. So I want you back next week, Kasey.
All right, I should. As long as I'm not flying, I should be available. So
good, right. We want you back. And we're going to try and get John on. John, we're hoping, is going to host next week for the finale.
Cool. That'll be fun.
Which would be fun. And maybe we'll actually get James on for once, which would be fantastic.
Let's just get everybody. Let's see what we can do.
We're trying. We can fit, I think, 10 people on here, Gerald?
10 people.
Okay.
So we'll be able to get most of the cast on. So that's what our goal is for next week for the finale. And I know the fans are super excited about episode 11 and how we're going to not wrap things but where we're going to kind of
go
yes,
with
Eric.
The finale.
Eric, there are people in the Facebook chat room. Nayara's here, and Angie's here, and Gerda's here, and Jackie's here. And everybody's wishing you a happy birthday, Kasey.
Oh, well, thank you. Tell everybody I appreciate it more than they even know.
You just did.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad they heard me.
Did I miss something? Kasey, is it your birthday today?
Today is my birthday, yes, sir.
Wow. Congratulations.
20
We've
years
done it
old.
Before, and we're going to do it again. Gerald, you ready?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Come on, folks.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday,
dear
Kasey.
Happy birthday to you.
Guys, that was incredible. That was by far the best part of my birthday so far.
I hope not. I'm seriously hoping not.
Oh, man. That was great.
We're bad. What can we say, Kasey? So I'm going to jump right to it here. I'm going to look down here and see what everyone's saying and see if we have any questions fired up for you, Kasey, because you're the man of the hour on the jet trying to either resuscitate Kovita or perhaps she's not able to resuscitate. Maybe she's not ever coming back, but maybe episode 10 reveals something there. A lot of people that pop on have not seen episode 10 yet, so I'm not I'm not going to
give too much
say
away.
One way or the other. If people ask me a question, reveals it, then we'll answer. All right, what am I missing? You want to throw out any questions, Gerald? I'm trying to see what we got here.
No, we still have everybody's just showing up. Michelle is here from Kaiserslautern, and Scooty just showed up, and Jennifer White is here too. Hi, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
You know who has to remind us where they're from is Nayara. You have to remind us where you're from again. I think it's Colorado, and Gerda has to remind us where she's from because we have our cheat sheet, everybody. Jennifer White. Oh, Jennifer White. I recognize that name. Jennifer, where are you from? We've got our cheat sheet here, everybody. This is our cheat sheet.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
So we know that Angie's from Vienna, and we know that Renee's from Reno. Gerda, we're still waiting to find out. Scooty's from Australia. Hawk's in Colorado. Jackie is in Scotland. Kelly is in Ohio. James is in Manitoba, I think, in Canada. Ivana, we don't know. And Les is in Washington. So if we haven't said your name and you're in with us here, guys, please post a comment. Tell us where you're from. We'll put it on the cheat sheet, and it helps us out because, you know, there's so many of you from everywhere. Michelle, we know, is from Germany as well. So
wow, quite a diverse audience we have here, huh?
We do. That's why we do the noon hangouts, because it pretty much everyone can
covers all the time, yeah.
Yeah,
Ivana is here now, too. Ivana just showed up.
Ivana, we need to know where you're from too. Ivana.
Yeah, Ivana, where are you from?
By the way,
we're a little delayed on Facebook, so it's going to take a minute or two for everybody to.
I'm going to check out a few things here. So listen to this, Kasey. You'll find this interesting. Les in Washington says he stumbled across the show tonight, meaning last night, and he watched all 8 episodes. So he actually has 2 more to watch.
Yes, he does.
He thinks it's great. Keep it up, guys. We'll hear from him. Niari says she's here. She's trying to work as well, I think. And Michelle's here from Germany. Kaiserslautern. Ganz gut, Michelle. Ganz gut. I speak a little German.
Yeah, you're going to have to cover me on that one.
Yeah, and Scooty, of course, from Australia. She's saying good day, everyone.
I have been to Kaiserslautern. I think I've told Michelle that before.
Have you been to Kaiserslautern? You have.
I have. With the USO. Thank you very much.
You were on stage, right?
Yes, of course I was on stage. It was in college, and we did a USO tour of Germany.
And were you dancing and singing?
I was dancing, singing, telling jokes. It was amazing.
In case you didn't know, everyone, in case you didn't know, Gerald is a stand-up comedian.
No, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I was when I was a child.
Okay, so now you're a sit-down comedian.
No, now I'm just a sit-down social media mogul, okay?
Hey, by the way, Nayari she says she was singing along.
Well, tell her thank
Gerda
you.
is in
I'm sure she just heard.
Oh, Gerda's from Linz, Austria. All right, Gerda, now we know.
Write it down.
Austria. Österreich. And Angie's from Vienna, so they're sisters in the same country. Wonderful. All right, so guys, let's open it up to questions. Who's got a question for Kasey? And I think it'd be great. It could be any question you want, but obviously it'd be wonderful if it pertained to Kavita and how you think they may or may not survive their current predicament, and if that's even possible. I mean, can they survive this? If the jet is leaking and water's coming in and they're losing oxygen, how long are they going to survive? And how are they going to ever get out of this predicament? And I wish Peter could have joined us today too, because Peter had a couple interesting opinions. Peter, he beats the snot out of David Ruiz. Woo!
Yes, he does.
Yeah, he gave old Jay Montalvo a few bruised ribs when we shot that sequence. We'll leave that up to the guys to discuss next week. All right, so questions for Kasey. Bring them on, guys. We're waiting for them. In the meantime, Kasey, I'm going to ask you a couple questions.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, we have a behind-the-scenes episode that we're gonna play in a couple weeks where you and Kelsey talk a little bit about the filming of your sequence on the jet, and that's a lot of fun. And people will get to see that in a few weeks. But until then, why don't you describe a little bit of what it was like to shoot on the jet, the actual scene when you guys are freezing, when you're freezing to death, and episode 10 kind of ends with a very dramatic scene between the two of you. It's funny, I watched the scene again today. I always watch them just to make sure that it plays properly when it goes live in the mornings. And when I watched that scene again, I mean, I felt this visceral cold, and I remember how warm it was when we shot on that.
Oh, so do I. It was really warm.
Tell me, tell everybody how you do that, because, as a director, we set the scenario, we set the stage, we discuss the scene, but, at the end of the day, I go and sit, next to the camera, and I watch, but you have to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's total commitment. You just got to believe it yourself. I mean, that's the way I go about it. You got to get in that mindset as much as possible and try to really just deliver what you feel. Although you don't feel it exterior, it's not on the exterior. You got to really get there on the interior, which is for a lot of people it's really tough. But I love it. That's why I do it.
That's great.
And I'll tell you, it was hot. It was. I tend to find myself as a pretty nice person, But I remember filming that scene after it was over. I was just grumpy. I was a really grumpy person just because it was so emotional and so warm and just it took so much out of us.
It was. And, as I remember, as I recall, we had to shoot all of your scenes in that little room in the course of about 3.5 hours.
Yeah, it was straight, just continuous all the way through.
It was, and I knew that was going to be a challenge for you guys, and so, you hate to do that as a director, to say, okay, 4 scenes in a row, you come in, it's for this episode, and then we got to play the second part and the third and the fourth part, one right after the other for, episode 8, then 9, then 10, and you're just rolling right through them, and you have very little time to segue from one to the other. It's just, I remember we literally added more makeup and the frostiness to your faces to give the appearance of your skin literally getting colder and more
bluer,
and less oxygen and blood, and then adding the crystals to your face and to your eyelashes, and then go, roll, action, and you guys just had to do it. But in particular, I love what you guys did with those final moments when when Kavita professes her love for you, and you kind of don't get it at first. You just think, oh, I love you too.
Yeah.
And she says, no, I love you.
It's the real deal, yeah.
The real, and that was exciting to see as a director, and you guys did a great job of that.
Oh, well, thank you. We definitely did our best, and I think it turned out great. After rewatching it again, I thought it turned out incredible. And so much of that credit goes to you. I mean, you made everything happen, which is just, seeing it after everything was done and seeing it come together has just been such a cool experience.
Well, here's the goal. We're going to see where this all goes with episode 11, and we're going to see exactly what happens to you and to Kavita, and it's going to be exciting for the fans to see the finale next week, and as we plan a second season, what happens with all the characters and the threats and the alliances and some new alliances potentially and some new characters and some new villains. So
it's exciting stuff.
Eric, I have questions.
Let's go.
Here. Okay, first of all, Jennifer White would like to know, Kasey, how is it working with the cast and with Eric? And do tell the truth, please.
I can honestly tell the truth because everybody, honestly, was incredible. Everybody was just so present. Like nobody didn't want to be there. It never felt hard. Everybody felt just excited about what they were doing. It was truly, honestly, one of the best sets I've ever been on, for sure. Just very exciting to be around everybody, for real.
Great.
So I'm not a nightmare?
Oh, I didn't say that.
Bert also would like to know, Kasey, what aspect of your role did you find the hardest to portray?
I think it was probably the mix of innocence and yet so much expectation for my character. So it was really coming into his own. Still a very I wouldn't say immature, but still very unexperienced, and yet wanting to be right there with everybody in that fight. Just trying to find that right mix of innocence / I don't know, just trying to push through that. Naivete. Yeah, that's a good word for it. Yeah, just trying to get through that and try to really portray and have me still likable. Because some of the, I'm still I can be kind of a butthead in some of the episodes, and it's just like you got to find that right delicate balance.
Right, you could still come off as kind of goofy, like in episode 3 when you're doing the blood lamp stuff, and along comes
Riley pops in. Yeah.
Sam pops up, and he he steals a little bit of your thunder because clearly Kavita. He's a charming older dude, and he's a stubby guy, and she's a little bit taken by him. But so it's like, hey, wait a minute, you're rubbing the long johns, generating electricity from batteries.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, first of all, everybody's saying what an amazing scene that was, to be honest. And Jackie says They have to live. If they don't, you have to find a way to bring them back to life in season 2. Maybe a dream sequence. I don't know, Eric. It's up to you.
We'll see. We'll see
where that goes.
Where's that comment? How come I don't have that comment? Did Jackie make that comment?
Jackie, I'm on the Facebook feed right now.
I'm on it too, but I don't see it. So maybe it just hasn't popped up yet.
Click refresh. Click refresh.
I'm refreshing. Hey,
also, Hawk is here. Just so you know, Hawk is here, but he's having trouble loading. She's having trouble loading the Facebook chat. Hawk, if you put the message in the questions where you let me know that you were here, I can ask your question from there. I can see it. Just so you know, Hawk. Okay. All right. Continue. Carry on.
I have to apologize to Hawk because Hawk, I haven't sent out your hat and your shirt yet, but I will. I was out of town, and I'm grabbing the box, and I'll be sending that out either tomorrow or Monday. So you will get your hat and your T-shirt. And today we're going to pick another winner.
We are.
Another hat and T-shirt. So we'll be getting to that in a little bit, guys. But I wanted to also welcome Ivana. Ivana's here from Argentina. Ivana, are you from Buenos Aires? Let us know where you are from in Argentina. We have a very large fan base down in Argentina as well as Brazil, guys. So Latin America, big audience, a younger audience too. A lot of young guys, 13 to 24, and we love to get them on the chats, but they're a little tougher to get on chats. They like to watch and then bail out. And
well, I'm so impressed with the diversity of the audience, like I was saying. I think that's absolutely incredible.
No, it's fun it'd be great to get some of them on the Hangouts just to hear what they have to say, or you can get them chatting. It's harder to get the 13 to 24 guys to
sit down and
to sit down for 30 seconds and actually jump on a chat or leave a comment. We're trying to change that because I think they have something to say, and I think they would have a lot of interesting things to say, and they have an interesting perspective on entertainment online, and certainly our show and where it might go. So I can't wait to try and get these guys talking. We're trying to engage them, and even to hear where they think the show should go in the next season, because that's an important part of what we do is, listening to the fans. And
absolutely. And we want to make them happy for sure.
Yeah, I think it's really important. I'm taking a look here to see if we have anybody else. Oh, I got Jack here. Let's see. They have to live.
I love that Hawk and Nayari are 100 feet apart in Colorado.
Oh, what are they? Says
they're currently 100 feet apart.
Oh, yay!
Same room, Nayari, or are you next door? I love that. I love that.
Nayari, yeah, tell us, Nayari. We want to know where you guys are. Are you living in an apartment complex, condos, houses? You live down the street, across the street? We want to know. Yeah, that's interesting.
We need to know all this information.
Gerda was happy with my pronunciation of her hometown. You can thank my mom.
Kaiserslautern.
Kaiserslautern. Which I think. Well, hang on. No, Gerda's in Linz. Linz.
Okay.
Linz. You can thank my mom for that. She's from Bremerhaven. So I've got a little.
Oh my God! Really?
Yeah, Bremerhaven, Deutschland. I went to first grade in Bremerhaven, same elementary school my mom went to.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, the parents decided to move to Germany because my mom wanted to give it a try with the family. We all 5 moved there, and we were there for about 3 or 4 months and didn't work out, and so we ended up moving back to the States, but it was a lot of fun. I was there for 4 months, got to hang out with my family and pick up a little German. That's bummed.
Cool. See, I'm very. I don't have a lot of language experience. I know English clearly, and I'm actually pretty fluent in sign language as well. But that is it.
I know this. This is.
A-okay. All right, doing well.
Okay, Michelle is sure that Milo and Covita will be rescued.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
Michelle, have you had a sneak at a future episode? I want to know what you know.
Please share.
Renee just showed up after watching the episode. She waited to see it before coming in the room, and she loved it too. Great reviews on this episode, Mr. Small.
Well, it was a lot of fun to put that one together.
Yes,
hey, Renee's here from Reno. I love it. She says here, it took time to watch before coming in. Thank God, because we hate to spoil the episode for everybody. The spoiler alert. If you're here, we're gonna spoil some of the plot line. Well, I'll tell you this. I can't reveal what happens to Milo and Covita, but they definitely are in dire predicament. But if you watch episode 11, you'll know more. But not only that, it's a finale to season 1, but it's really a beginning of sorts. So that's the only clue I'm going to give anybody. But episode 11, even though it's a finale, it is truly a beginning.
A transition into something.
Absolutely.
Sure.
There's big transitions that happen, and that's what makes it so exciting for the show. The show really opens up in season 2, which it needs to. So that'll be a lot of fun. So I was talking to the folks at MetaCafe via text and email over the last couple of days, and I was just talking to Mark, who runs MetaCafe, and he's the COO of the Collective Digital Studio, and he's a big fan of the show. They love it. They're going to give it as much support as they can, and they're doing a great job. We're happy and proud to announce that we've pushed past 1 million views as of 2 days ago. So
that's just incredible. For sure.
All you guys pushed us there. It has nothing to do with us. You guys did it all. You watched.
Yeah.
So we pushed past 1 million views a couple days ago, and it's an exciting
Very cool.
milestone. Well, yeah, I mean, anytime you push past 1 million, you're getting into a nice space. So it means that there's a real fan base, and let's keep watching, keep spreading the word. And the way it works, obviously, is when people share, because what makes shows successful are when they're shareable and repeatable. When people are watching it more than once, and they're sharing the show with their friends and their family, and they're sharing it on blogs, and they're talking about it. That's what makes shows work. So it's pretty exciting.
Well, all right then.
Telephone.
This is okay. You guys keep talking. I'll see who it is. Hello.
Okay, just for everybody's information, Hawk and Nayari live in the same apartment building, and Nayari is directly upstairs from Hawk, because I know you all want Kasey. I know you wanted that information.
Yes, indeed. That's awesome. Colorado. That's right, Colorado, right?
Yes, Colorado.
Ooh.
And let's see what else is going on there. God, everybody's talking about there must be some sort of big cliffhanger coming.
No, I don't know.
Renee makes an interesting comment. Renee says, I see a big cliffhanger coming up at the end of the season. That football is in play.
Uh-oh.
What does she know?
Right.
Why? How come these people know more than you, Eric?
Renee, Missy says, I thought there were 12 episodes going according to IMDb. Yeah, good old IMDb, folks. Unfortunately, IMDb is hearsay. The ultimate hearsay, IMDb, the Internet Movie Database. I go on there and I look at stuff and I say, really? I didn't work on that show.
Wow, that's incredible. I've actually gotten a credit. I don't know if you guys know this, but Kasey Campbell is also the name of one of the Pussycat Dolls.
Wow.
Spelled the exact same way. And I got a credit for Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle on IMDb. I was like, wow, Burlesque Dancer #3.
Yeah.
I don't remember that one. Yeah.
Well,
that
funny.
was
I mean, you try and get rid of anything, it's impossible.
Yeah, it's tough.
Hey, you guys want to see what I just brought? Look at this. Breakfast on the fly.
Oh, yeah.
Woo!
Look at that.
Hangout. We're on the Hangout. that was Kim Myers, who plays Vina Hess.
Tell her to say hello.
Well, she would, but she just walked out because it's got a house full of boys, and
Who doesn't? Who
exactly.
doesn't?
So they're all running around like maniacs inside, and it's breakfast time at the small house at 12:30.
Sounds about right.
Whose phone is buzzing?
It's the holidays, guys. It's like
be
nobody's getting up before 9 or 10 o'clock, and if you are, why are you?
There you go.
Just stay up late, get all the work done whenever you can later, and enjoy. I am working on a few things, but they can get up later. This is my lunch treat. So everyone's saying congrats on the views, and we love that. Now, a lot of storylines, a lot of questions that people have, but they need to put them into words here so we can answer them. I'm going to ask Kasey another question. Kasey, reflecting back on the season, I'm always thinking, who has been in scenes with almost every cast member on the show, and what's interesting is you kind of touch almost every cast member. You've got scenes with everybody in the Beck clan. You also have fairly intimate scenes with Blake Randall, who plays Christo.
Yeah, it's very diverse. I agree. I got to work with him.
Yeah, you're all over the map, man. You're like in scenes with everybody. You're on the jet. You're stranded. You're almost dying. You've got a love relationship. You're a legacy Beck. You're all over the place. I mean, and the only person you haven't, Jill Remez has joined the chat. How are you, Jill?
I'm good. Hello. How are you?
I love it. There it is. Now, it's interesting that Jill shows up when she does. Why? Because, Jill, we were just talking about, and in case anyone doesn't know, Jill Remez plays Rita. Sorry, Renee. can't get Renee out of here. Renee's in Reno. She plays Rita Ruiz, and this is, and not that you look like you're a grandmother, but this is this is Milo's grandmother on the show. So it's interesting that you show up when you do, because we were just talking, Jill, about how Kasey's character touches so many of the characters in the show, and I hadn't thought about this until just now we were talking, and he literally touches almost every single character, except perhaps like he doesn't have a scene with Amelie.
Right. I think that might have been the only person I didn't get to share a scene with.
Well, that's it. I think that's the only person, because other than her, Remy's on the platform during the fight scene.
Right.
You're holding the rope that's holding him and Christo. So other than Amelie, that's it. You touch every single character in the show.
What a cool is. You know what? I never even looked at it that way. I never even thought about it. But I think you're right, and that is absolutely awesome. I was so lucky to work with everybody.
See that? See what's happening? Oh my God! I'm raising the stakes already. Jill, everybody's saying that after watching episode 10, they said, "Oh my God, the kids have to live. They can't die. They have to live." And they're all counting on it. And I said, "I don't know. I can't guarantee anything." But they'll just have to watch episode 11.
Yes. Thinking about being Milo's grandmother, actually, it's hard to say, but
yeah, I know.
It really enhanced, I think, the scene. I think it's in episode 9 with Jay, where we talk about our daughter, which would be Milo's mother, and that to me, I loved that scene just because it's this real scene of heartfelt, human family stuff, and I love it. And it's all, having Milo as the only person left as the connection to the daughter made it really powerful to me.
That was a wonderful scene, by the way, and that was a scene right before the attack sequence, and
it's called Siege.
Siege. Well, what's interesting is we were you weren't on a couple weeks ago when we talked about that, and Jay was, and we talked about that scene in particular because I remember we were behind schedule, and it's this very dramatic scene, and I was thinking, God, how are we going to shoot this so that we don't have to shoot 3 or 4 shots, and then we're just kind of rushing the whole process. And I remember when I was talking to the two of you, I said, well, something, I'm going to try and play this as one shot and not have to cut. And you guys were game, of course, and you pulled it off. There's not a single cut in that scene, and it's about a 2-minute scene, and a ton of dialogue. And you guys, you did such a great job. That scene delivers so much, not just emotion, but a ton of information. I mean, we're learning about your daughter. We're learning that that she's not alive. We're feeling the pain, this pact you have not to talk about her, maybe, or not to bring her up too often because it's painful. You reveal information about Milo, and the fact that you have Milo, and that is so comforting to you. So, just you deliver so much information, but in such such a wonderful and palpable way, so that it doesn't feel like you're just delivering all this exposition, and we're going, okay, we get it. You deliver it, and it works so well. Anyway, that's a scene that I'm real proud of. For your guys' sake, you guys did such a good job.
Hey, Eric.
Yeah.
I have a question from Hawk. She wants to know if this show was shot sequentially.
Well, in a perfect world, we'd all love to shoot things sequentially, because I know the actors like that. I like it. It keeps my head straight.
It's convenient for actors, for sure. It helps a lot.
I remember one scene, I had it wrong. I remember you said, "Not yet, Jill, not yet," because I was kind of ahead. And I was like, oops, I forgot, sorry. Yeah, we were not in sequence.
We were not in sequence. And Hawk, the term we use for that is we block shoot. And block shooting means that we take all the scenes that take place in a certain set, and we shoot all those scenes one after the other, no matter where they fit in the storyline. And sometimes it's just not as convenient to shoot in continuity, even though you're block shooting those scenes. Sometimes we can't. It might be because of an actor's availability. Jay may not be available one day, and so I have to shoot certain sequences out of sequence, and it may be that I'm ending the day with a certain number of shots with Bill in a certain set, and then we've got to finish them the next day when he's available, and so we actually go back and we shoot something that happened earlier, or sometimes it's simply the logistics of the set, where you're shooting a certain direction, and you're shooting that direction for a good chunk of sequences, and it makes more sense to keep the camera pointing that way to get maybe a small scene between two actors that might take place at the end of the show, and you end up shooting it that way because it would be more difficult to not. This happened to us on the Icescape. We were shooting with we were shooting with all of you guys outside. Kasey, it was you and Kelsey and Schneider and Riley Smith and James, and a lot of those sequences were shot against blue, but in the shot that was looking toward you guys, I could see the igloo behind you, and it was going to be a lot more work to kind of get rid of the igloo and everything and move it all out of the way to be ready for that. So we had to shoot almost everything in one direction, just changing up the lighting a little bit and moving you guys around. And then we wanted to do the one shot where we looked back that way. We actually had to go back and capture a piece of dialogue. You may not even remember this, but we had to catch a piece of dialogue from that one specific angle for a couple of the scenes, and so all of a sudden, we had to say, okay, now remember when you were looking this way, and it was these lines from this sequence, and you had to just go back, and that stuff's very difficult to do.
I think a lot of people just don't understand, acting. A lot of people think it's such a glamorous job, the whole process. Oh, it's complex. There is so much to it. Not glamorous at all most of the time. It's a lot of work. But at the same time, it's well worth it. It's such a blast.
No, and certainly when we're doing green screen work, it gets more complex sometimes because you got nothing to work with. You have no idea what's around you. You haven't seen any of the visual effects yet. The advantage of where we are now is moving into season 2. What the show looks like.
Right.
You
have that advantage for sure this year, definitely.
Advantage. Now in your gut, what the show looks like and feels like, and we can remind everybody as well because it's easy to watch a little bit before a scene, and to even have the music, which sets a big part of the tone of the show. We didn't have any of that, and so it's funny. People will say, and this happens a lot in the business. People say, well, I could write an episode for that show, and my answer is always yes. It's certainly easier to tackle an episode of a show that's been established and well thought out and laid out after the fact than beforehand. It's that first season when you're trying to shape a show and sculpt it.
Develop that consistency of the world, yeah.
The consistency of the world and the tone of the dialogue and the characters and the story, the music, the look, everything. And once that's established and you do it consistently for a full season, then you've got something you can kind of start to build on and hopefully do a better job of. Hopefully, I'll do a better job of it as a writer, and I'll continue to flesh out the characters and the story in an even better and more interesting way, in a more engaging way, and keep people guessing, because that's always the fun part of a show, is keep everybody guessing where it's going to go and then switch it up and spin it in a new direction, and people say, oh my God, I didn't see that. Which is what, guys like Vince Gilligan do so well, with Breaking Bad. I mean, that show is, I use that show as an example, like a lot of people do, because he did such a fantastic job of, start an episode and you think you know where it's going, and then he'll spin it in a new direction, and you'll end up in a place you had no idea you'd ever end up, nor could you ever imagine how you would get there. I mean, that's just terrific storytelling.
I would watch that show. It's my favorite show ever, I have to say. And watching episode after episode, I just could not believe how consistent that guy was.
Absolutely.
Writing just the most brilliant, and twists, and it's great. What a show.
Going for big moments and not in a false way at all. It's a fun show to watch. So for me, it's a great show to watch just to get inspired.
Eric?
Yes.
Michelle had a comment for Jill, and it's very sweet. She says, what I like about Rita is that she tells so much without speaking.
Aww.
I think that's a great compliment.
Yeah.
Thank you. I do too. Oh my goodness.
It's true though, Jill. That's one thing you do really well, and that's of course that's great storytelling, right? How do you go about that, Jill? I'll do a follow up on that. Because you have a lot of moments in the show where, and I'll draw another example, is, before Lucas goes to visit Amelie, there's a scene the two of you have in the kitchen, and you approach him and you actually give him the note that tells him that she needs to meet with him and where. And that's a tough thing to do. I mean, here's a woman that's come to you to give a note to your son-in-law, who is married to your daughter, who's no longer alive, and many women would just take that note and they toss it, or they'd say, "There's no way in hell I'm going to give this note to him." But you give him that note anyway, and there's so much going on in your face during that scene, and before you even hand it to him, that tells us that ultimately, you not only loved your daughter, but you loved the relationship she had with this man, and you respect him. How do you even go? I mean, that was, anyway, talk a little bit, if you could, about how you go about that.
Well, I remember that was I liked that scene because of all the unspoken stuff. The lines were not, I'm giving this to you despite the fact that my daughter is no longer here, and none of that was in the dialogue. It was just, it was so unspoken, and that's what I actually liked about it. I feel like you go to see actors not for what's written, but for what's not written. And so, and to see what an actor brings to it that's not the dialogue. And so I think that that particular scene gave a lot of opportunity to do that, because it was a very simple dialogue, but so much going beyond, underneath it. And also the idea that it was also the quote-unquote enemy, that it was not just that it was my daughter's husband now in a new relationship, but also with somebody who was sort of forbidden, almost a Romeo and Juliet kind of thing. So I thought that was, it just was a really fun scene, and I didn't have any other scenes with Lucas, and so that was really a fun opportunity to do that. But yeah, I think that's the core of acting, is to do what's not written. Because what's written, everybody hears it, so they know. But what's not written is what the actor brings to it.
Subtext. No, it's true, and that's what of course, that's where good casting comes in.
Yeah.
Someone once told me early on, they said, look, write a good script, that's really important, but man, you better cast it right, because if you don't cast it correctly, you don't stand a chance.
It's all in the casting.
Well, I took that to heart. I thought, if I can just do a good job casting the right people that are really gonna take these roles and make them their own, and deliver performances that I can't even imagine right now. They're gonna mine the material for little gems and things that they even imagine on their own, because that's really a lot of it too, is what you bring to it that I haven't written down, stuff that I'm not even coming up with. It's your own internal world, and so I always figure my job is to cast as well as possible, turn the roles over to the actors, and then if I can just stay out of the way for the most part, and do a little guiding here and there a little bit, then I won't mess it all up.
Well, I have to also say that Eric created a very lovely set. I mean, a really, really nice set that, it was a safe place to do whatever you needed to do as an actor, rather than, feeling like you didn't want to make a mistake. That was never, ever the set. The set was so free and easy and open and lovely, and it was a joy to show up every day, despite the fact that it was 110 degrees and we were dressed in, wool and leather and everything, because the set that you, Eric, created was so safe and so great and a great place to work.
Wow.
So it helps being married to an actress who helps give me some ideas on the mistakes not to make.
Wow.
Well,
Eric, I have questions this is for both Kasey and Jill. Did you have any scenes that surprised you in some way when you watched it due to the different point of view? And that's from Gerda.
The different point of view?
So do you mean I was reading that question too? I'm guessing that maybe you did the scene, and then
Right.
after watching it, there was something it came out a little differently than you expected, because all of a sudden, whether it was shot against green screen, the background was revealed in a way you hadn't expected it.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
may apply more to Kasey, because all of a sudden you're watching a scene and all of a sudden it's like, oh, wow,
that's what's happening?
right.
Well, I mean, yeah, if we're going off that, I would say, that first scene when we see the airplane, not the first scene, but in the first couple episodes, when we see the airplane roll over and we're down in that cave, I mean, we're looking at nothing, We're looking at a big piece of cloth. So seeing it all come together was absolutely incredible. The sheer magnitude and scale of the set was incredible. Definitely wasn't expecting that, or definitely, at least when I was filming it, But emotionally, I would say, I mean, looking back at that scene that just happened in the plane and trying to help Covita, doing it was one thing. I was so caught up in it, but seeing it afterwards, I really just felt a sense of wholeness and completion with this scene that I didn't feel when we were, doing it. I mean, it felt great filming it, but when I saw it all come together in the editing process and everything came together, I really enjoyed that scene a lot and was very impressed.
I'm glad.
Cool.
I didn't fail you.
Ivana's saying
you
that
did.
must have been really difficult to imagine. And when we think about it with all the special effects, how amazing it must have been for all of you guys to finally see the finished product with everything imposed in the background and the weather and the ice and everything. It must have been mind-blowing to sit through the viewing of it.
It was incredible. It was absolutely amazing to see it for that first time. I was shocked how well it turned out. So,
Yeah.
not that I had low expectations, of course, but
No, I know what you
yeah.
No.
Hey, I'm actually going to grab my computer charger. I will be right back. I just want to make sure this doesn't
Okay.
die
Grab your
on me,
charger.
so. All right.
And then I was going to make a comment. I was going to say it's always one of my favorite times is when music comes in, and when the composer starts delivering music cues, and we start putting music to the show, especially like in a pilot season like ours, because there's no music yet. So it's so exciting to all of a sudden start putting some music to the show, and realize how much that brings to it and sets the tone. And Joe LaDuca did such a great job. Joe was on. He was
All right,
on.
I'm back.
To go, and it was a lot of fun hearing Joe talk about the music, and he actually played the opening for everybody on this special guitar he had.
You know what I also like, which I think really adds a lot, is not just the music, but also the bed of sound. There's always sort of wind happening, and I really like that you even when you're indoors, you sense the outdoors due to the sound bed, and I really like that aspect of it.
Yeah, the audio mixing was incredible. I agree. Really gave a sense of despair. It made it almost seem hopeless, for sure.
Lonely, very lonely.
Yeah.
That's something they did. The guys at Skywalker, we have some friends up there, and they did us a huge favor by helping out on the show. And Pascal was the sound designer along with Tom Myers, and that's one thing that they wanted to do is always remind people that it was cold and wind, and they actually put the sound of ice crackling a little bit every now and then, and just to help add to that, and they laid that in all over the place on purpose, just to constantly remind us, no matter where we were, that there was a harsh environment outside, and never to forget that.
Yeah, not that I ever forgot, but it definitely helped. It really did.
That was nice. You know, I was thinking about scenes and the way we shot them and then how they turned out, and the sort of earthquakes. Those were really fun to shoot because, you know, basically it's a guy moving the set, you know, behind the wall, and then when you see it, it's really, you know, intense and this scary earthquake. But when you're there, it's some, you know, guy shaking a flat. So
it was a little goofy, right? I mean, the big scene at the table when you're all having breakfast, and
right.
And we called shake, and there's guys behind the walls, you know, shaking things and shaking the lamp above, and you know, it's here we are demystifying the quake, and then of course later you add the rumble of the soundtrack, and you add all this wonderful stuff that helps sell it. But yeah, it's
But that one's fun because it's not about green screen. That's just about good old-fashioned filmmaking, and then when you see it all put together, it's pretty awesome.
Oh yeah. Well, you know what? That reminded me, Jill, of the scene where you and Vina are in the greenhouse, and you're putting away the sheet, you know, that has the honeycomb on it into the beehive. You know, there was no bee for you to follow, but I remember I said, "Oh, just with your eyes, Jill. Just, you know, like you make a comment and follow the bee, you know." And then we had to add a bee in there, and you know. And there is a bee, and you know, we didn't do a CGB because that would be expensive. You know, a computer-generated bee would be expensive. So what we did was sorry, stop. Sorry, I'm gonna make a end here. Hold on, end this call. There we go. So what we did was my brother has a beehive, and I went to his house with my iPhone, and I literally took my iPhone and I just went out, and the bees were flying around in front of the hive, and I just shot a little video, and I tried to get as close to them as possible and get them in focus. And then Dave Ebner, our visual effects supervisor, I just literally emailed him the clip. He took it, put it in the computer, cut out the little bee, and composited that into the shot.
That was amazing. I had no idea.
I did not know that. That's really cool.
That was it. So we took what could have been like, you know, a $10,000 shot if you want to add a CGB. And we just I just did a shot, emailed it to him, he took it, comped it in, and it took, you know, took about 35 minutes.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that kind of stuff is fun to do because it you know, again, it's thinking about how to do something for a price instead of just, yeah, give me a CGB. It sounds like an acronym, a CGB.
I have a question from Angie for both you guys. Which one of the cast made you laugh so hard or distracted you so you couldn't continue shooting? Both for Jill and Kasey, that question goes.
Oh, gosh, I don't think that happened. Let me think.
Nothing was funny?
No, I actually remember it wasn't, I think it was a collective effort. I think that everybody was extremely playful. I remember when we were filming that scene with the dinner table and the shake.
Yes.
We had a laughing fit at one point where we ruined, I can't remember how many takes in a row. Nobody could keep it serious.
Oh, I remember that.
I can't remember. I think it had to have been at least like 6 or 7 takes in a row where we just broke out laughing.
I don't. What you mean we? I believe it.
I don't know what you're talking
about now. Oh my
Yeah.
God. That's what happens when you get too many of us together.
Exactly.
Trouble.
Exactly. It was, but like I said, it was a collective effort. I think everybody was responsible for sure.
Well, we had I think we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We had, I think, 12 of you around the table. 11 of you around the table.
Yeah.
That was the one
gosh,
big
I
thing.
remember that was a laughing fit.
No, it was.
Yeah.
It did not go well.
Probably Riley Smith who started, or John Schneider.
Most likely so. I feel like it may have been Riley, now that I think about it.
Yeah, Riley is the troublemaker. There was a comment here as well that somebody made. Gerald, do you see that one in there? Somebody made a comment about what scene was most difficult. Was it for both of them?
I think we asked that when you ran away.
Oh, you did? All right, great. Someone made a nice comment. They said, actors make scenes fly, directors weave them together.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's nice.
That was
sure.
Gerda.
We love you, Gerda.
Yeah, well, Gerda's in Austria. She's a poet. She's a poet. She must be a poet. I like that. There was someone who had another comment.
Scooty has a comment that you should read because I'm not understanding it, but I think it makes a lot of sense.
Is this wow? And now the wow, and now Remy has the goods?
Yeah.
So Scooty says, wow, now Remy has the goods. Oh, poor David feels bad and helpless. William to the rescue. D, bring it on. All right, let's see what that means. The toe scene.
Oh, the toe scene.
Not while I'm having coffee, please. One wet PC here.
I guess she spilt her coffee, is what she's saying.
Yeah.
But she was crying.
D, bring it on. What is D, bring it on to? Who's that?
David?
David, bring it on. Yeah, I guess so, but David got his butt whooped.
No, the D is a smile. That's just a smiley face.
Oh, bring it on.
Well, it's a great recap of our episode, and there's a lot going on. I mean, someone loses a toe. Pretty gruesome moment.
Pretty brutal.
We lose a toe. David gets beat up. David wasn't quite the fighter. Jill, your husband.
He's a lover, not a fighter.
He's a lover, not a fighter. Remy takes him down, man.
Remy is out there on the ice. He's always on the ready. We're getting soft living in our oasis.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Now you did not have any scenes with Peter, Jill.
But he was so sweet. I remember after I filmed that scene with Jay, which was the scene we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
He came up to me, and I really hadn't really spent much time talking with Peter, and he said, "That was just lovely."
Yeah.
He was a very gracious actor.
That would be Peter. Well, in season 2, the one thing I will say is, because you're not trapped on a jet, so we know you live. I'm fairly certain that there will be a scene that will involve you and some of the Becks and with Remy. And you'll be involved in that, so you will be having a scene with Remy in season 2.
Oh, good. I look forward to it.
That I can promise you. And well, Kasey, we got to watch another episode to find out what happens with you.
We're gonna see. We're gonna see what happens.
What other questions do we have, Gerald, from the folks?
I'm trying to find. There's some new people here, but I just want to mention their names because I'm not sure I'm getting back to them.
Who do we got?
Called A Daily Dose of Random and Rakesh Chaudhary. Just say hi. Just a shout out to them. I'm not being able to respond to them in the Q&A part.
Yeah, I'm not seeing them in the Facebook Q&A.
No, they're in the Google Plus question Q&A.
And are they asking any questions?
Yeah, but they're newcomers, so they just wanted to know what it's all about. But I'll message them and get them over to Medicafe to watch.
Right. Hey, I just saw here that Ivana is from a little town outside Buenos Aires. That we finally figured out where Ivana's from. Ivana's from Argentina.
There it is. Add it to the cheat sheet.
Don't cry for me.
Well, we know she's from Argentina, but now we know she's from a little town outside Buenos Aires, which is awesome.
There we go.
Buenos Aires.
Spread that word. Jill, we've got like this huge contingency of viewers down south in Buenos Aires and Argentina and in Brazil. But what we're not getting is we're trying to get them on the Google Hangouts or on the chats because we were saying that they would have so much to contribute to the show. We got to figure out how to connect them, Jill.
Yes, we'll work on that. We'll have to work on that. Okay, I have something from Nayari. She was just letting you know that Scooty had a lot of emoticons, okay? Those were emoticons, not letters.
Thanks, Scooty.
And she says, nice suspense on thinking Kavita was dead. I was tearing up and then jumped a mile when she woke up. Remy is breathtaking, but that's Peter. Why did he leave David alive, though? I think I missed that. He wants blood between the clans, right? So why not kill David?
Oh, it's a good question.
Yeah.
That is a good question.
Eric.
I'm coming
Eric
back.
speaks
It's our executive producer who just called everybody.
Yeah? Tell
Erica
him,
Lockridge, our executive producer, says hello to everyone. Jill,
Hi,
Erica says hi. Casey,
Hi.
Erica says hi.
Hello. Tell him hello for us.
I will. That Casey and Jill are on as guests.
and there's a question for you, Eric.
Wait, hold that question for 1 second. Erica is saying, have a good time. She says hello to all the fans, and she's extremely proud of the fact that we've moved past 1 million views on that.
Wow.
Yay.
Congratulations, yay.
I'll call you afterwards, huh? She's back. So, yeah, question. Jill, you didn't know that. We pushed past 1 million views on MetaCafe.
Yay, congratulations.
Yeah, why didn't Peter kill David?
Well, is that the question? Why didn't Peter kill David?
Yeah, why did he leave him alive if he wants blood?
Well, I think ultimately, here's what it comes down to. When you look at Remy's character, and Peter really had the best beat on this. Remy is not. He's not a killer. That's not his goal. His goal isn't to just kill. I mean, his goal is to survive, right? And so that being the case, it's not about just killing David or killing the Becks. It's about the survival of his clan, and it's how he's going to accomplish that. And ultimately, these are people that he grew up with. He grew up with David, and don't forget, David's older than he is, right? So the fact that David's older than him, they have a relationship. They have a history. This is not his mortal enemy. This is somebody, who he shared a life with for many years, and so that's a complicated relationship, and that's part of why he didn't kill David. There's a long history there, and so it's not that he sees David personally as a threat. What he sees is that David is, occupying the observatory where he wants to be with his clan so that they can survive, and that's his goal. So his goal isn't to just kill all of them. His goal is to get his clan in there and to get them out, and killing or hurting them in any way that would be fatal. That's not really his goal, and there's going to be a lot of conflict for him in that regard. I think if he
certainly wouldn't accomplish anything.
Yeah, what would that ultimately
accomplish?
Yeah. And that would be difficult. So I think that being built into the character and the storyline for Remy, he's in conflict, with a lot of them, but he's also in conflict with himself and how he's going to deal with them, and so that's going to play out in a very interesting fashion in season 2.
Eric, Hawk has a question for you.
Yeah.
Were you able to achieve the look you wanted for the show in terms of lighting and camera equipment, or was the majority of that low light look reached in post-production?
No, we did that in camera, and that's an important question because what you don't want to do is you don't want to save a lot of that work for post because the best lighting is lighting that you achieve in camera, and that comes from having a very experienced cinematographer, and so what you don't want to rely on is, well, we kind of got the composition right, but we know we can recompose and repurpose a shot later and make it more perfect. The goal is to really frame your shot the way you want it to be, as a final product. And the same goes for lighting. You light it the way you want to light it. That doesn't mean you don't expose certain parts of a scene with enough light where there's detail there, because you may want to pull some of that detail out later. You don't want to shoot yourself in the foot or paint yourself in the corner. But Marco Matsai, the DP, he achieved that lighting look by really putting the light where he really wanted it and focusing your eye on the part of the frame that was important. And so a lot of that was done in camera, was done on the day, and we didn't, we obviously would add a little contrast and adjust the colors later, but the look was achieved with the lighting with a strong purpose.
Okay.
A long-winded answer, but
There's a.
But well done.
Niari has a comment. Could you read it, Eric? Because it's another complicated.
It's another complex one. Let's see here. Okay, this is not the comment about Scooty's emoticons. I take
No, refresh it. It's the one on the top.
No, I got you. Is this the Remy Farnwell equals Methos, Avon Pearson's 10,000 Days in the Future? It's all about survival. I understand he is not that far gone for revenge or rage. Hopefully he doesn't go that far. Thank you for the answer. That's not it. Oh, here we go. Maybe Remy would not be able to explain it. Is that it? Or do I have to refresh?
Yeah, that was it.
Well, I'm not sure that was a question.
All right.
I think what she's saying is that they're similar characters. You know, what he plays there. It's just 10,000 days in the future. Those two roles are not the same, but there's a similar vibe going on. It's about survival. And she understands that he's not that far gone for revenge or rage, but that he doesn't push it too far, and he doesn't allow, his emotions to run away with him, and he doesn't allow the dark side to.
Right.
Well, he wasn't there to kill. He was there to get the football.
You got it. That's it. There it is. Jill Remez boiled that down into 5 words versus my words.
Excuse me, why is Jill not hosting this more often?
Oh, I would love that.
Oh, that's great.
I'm here because I must, but you guys do a much better job of explaining things than I do.
Oh boy, not the case. Come on now.
Hey, so what's this? So someone says executive producer. Did I hear Erica? Yes, Erica. Nayari, that was Erica. Erica Lockridge, who jumped on there, and that is our executive producer, who I'll talk to later. She played a big part in obviously making this happen. Without her, there wouldn't have been a show. So we're very thankful.
Thank you, Erica.
That's right. Can't say that enough, right?
Right.
We've met our 1-hour mark here, Gerald, and I don't want to overstay our welcome, certainly not for Jill or for Kasey. So,
but we love Jill and Kasey.
I know, but
forever.
I don't want to overstay the welcome. Do you want to throw out the vibe for our last few questions and then pick our winner?
All right. Yeah. Let's get some final comments here. Anybody? Just so everybody knows, we're looking to have a gigantic blowout next Friday. Eric has already mentioned earlier, I don't know if you all were in here already, we're going to get as much of the cast together for next Friday as we possibly can. And we want you to bring newcomers so we can expose them to 10K days. And hopefully, Eric, who are you thinking might show up next week?
Well, I know we have Kelsey has confirmed that she's going to be here next week, so that's great. Kasey is going to be here if he's not on a plane. Kasey, you going to be around?
Yeah, you know what? I checked my flight, and it looks like I'll be here, so we'll be good.
So Kasey's confirmed. You heard it here. You can't back out, everybody. Jill, what about you? You good for next week?
On the fence, not sure. We'll do my best.
Good enough.
Jay is confirmed for next week as well. Your husband's confirmed. Your on-camera husband, sorry. He's confirmed for next week. So.
I thought they were married in real life. Then I would take responsibility for Jay's clean desk, Jill, because I kept chiding him about it.
We're gonna try and get we're trying to get everybody on it. You know, it'll be great to get James on because James hasn't been on yet. And being the lead of the show, we got to get that guy on.
And hopefully, Mr. Schneider.
Yeah, Schneider's gonna be here. I think next week. We're talking. He hasn't committed yet, and I haven't spoken to Peter yet. We're gonna try and get Peter on. We'll try and get Jules on as well. And
I saw Jules the other day.
Did you?
I did.
Casting call?
No, just taking a walk.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
And if I could just say one more thing, everybody who's listening, if you guys could just send the MetaCafe link, which is on the Facebook page, to all your friends, just to help spread the word, because the more word we spread, the better the chance of season 2 happening. So if you just all share it with everybody you know, and maybe get them into the chat next week with us, we would so appreciate that.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Gerald.
You're welcome.
Gerald's working hard, guys.
I am. I'm exhausted. I'm not kidding, Kasey. It's
All
not
right,
that
Gerald.
No, I believe you. Totally.
Pull a name out of the hat.
I am. The name that I'm pulling out of the hat right now. There's my hat and my is
Well, you
Gerda.
gotta tease us a little bit. What country is it from?
Gerda Strobel.
It's too late.
Too late.
Gerda. Gerda
Yeah.
gets the win.
Gerda, you won today, Gerda.
I'm sending a hat and a T-shirt out of the country to Linz, Austria for Goethe. Goethe, congratulations. Ganz gut.
So, Gerda, if you will private message me on Facebook, I would be happy to take your information so I can get that out to you. And Hawk, have no fear, it's on the way. Eric assures us.
Yeah, now I can go to the post office and send 2 packages out. I'll kill 2 birds with one stone.
Now he has to go to the post office.
They'll be flying out, airmail, your way. We'll get them there. Jill Remez,
right.
Thank you for showing up today.
Thank you. I was happy to be here.
Rita Ruiz, not Renee Ruiz.
Rita.
Renee's one of our fans. That was in my head. Sorry. And thank you to Kasey Campbell. Kasey, thank you for showing up.
Yeah, no, it was a pleasure. I had a great time. Good way to spend an hour for sure.
Hey, listen, we appreciate all you guys do for the show, and we'll get season 2 going here. I'm working hard to make it happen. My goal is that hopefully we'll be in production by next spring.
Yay.
Well,
Which ain't
we're
that
all
far away,
excited, so
folks. Ain't that far away. I need every minute to get ready. Got to write scripts and build sets.
All right, get to work.
Yes, I will. Listen,
all
goodbye,
right, thank you
everybody.
guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you to everybody. We'll see you all next week for the big finale, and we'll find out what happens with Kovita and Milo.
Okay. Happy New Year, everybody.
Thank you, y'all.
Wonderful, guys.
Bye,
Happy
guys.
holidays.
Bye-bye.
Happy holidays. Happy New Year 2014. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
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 Bye.